Just a few things that I have learned since moving to New York in 2021. In this video, I'm going to share some of my experience, some helpful tips. This is a little bit different than my normal videos, but hopefully you'll stay watching till the end. There is a clip I'm going to share at the end, which in my mind embodies what city life is all about. And I kind of want to share it with people watching in Ireland and Dublin, because perhaps maybe someday something like this might be possible in Dublin as well. I've been to New York loads of times as a tourist. I love the city, generally come over for about a week. Before the week is up, I'm exhausted and want to go home. I never imagined that I'd be in the city for an extended period of time and feel what it's like to live as a New Yorker. When we first came over to the city, it was quite quiet in the city. Bars and restaurants were outdoor only, and in the evening time it was -4 degrees. But in typical New York fashion, many bars and restaurants were open, and thanks to a new coat that I bought while I was here and outdoor heaters, we were able to enjoy some outdoor dining. So if outdoor dining is possible in -4 degrees here in New York, I definitely think outdoor dining is possible in Ireland right now and throughout the summer. Indoor dining in the city, in New York City, opened to 25% and 50% a few weeks after we arrived. And you could quickly see the city getting busier and busier every weekend. With the sun out now and temperatures hitting close to 20 degrees, bars and restaurants are quite busy during the week, and it's very difficult to get a table in any bar or restaurant at the weekends. I'm even seeing new restaurants fit out all vacant retail space and create new outdoor seating area. On the renting side, there does seem to be a lot of deals. Something like 3.4 million people left the city. A number of people did stay, and a lot of the people who have stayed in the city are renegotiating their leases, or they're actually trading up. They're going for bigger spaces and paying less rent. But there is plenty of people coming back to the city. I'm seeing moving trucks on every single block, every single day. So people are moving back to the city quite quickly. And I am guessing the same will happen in Dublin in time. Something to note about New York City apartments, or a lot of New York City apartments, a lot of them are based in 5-6 story walk-up apartments. And what I mean by walk-ups, there's no lifts in it. And this is a big issue because a lot of the apartments in New York City are unfurnished. We decided, as I wasn't planning to be here for too long, to rent furniture. And you can rent beds, sofas, tables, chairs, etc. for about $70 a piece. I think our bill for the whole month is roughly about $170 per month. And one of the big advantages of actually renting furniture is that they deliver it right up to your apartment and they assemble it in your apartment as well. So even the fact that you don't have to carry it up 5 flights of stairs is definitely a winner in terms of renting furniture when you come to New York. So it's certainly worth thinking about. There's lots of different alternatives in terms of where you can rent from, and perhaps it's a business idea for someone in Ireland to help renters out in Ireland as well. If you do ever move to New York City or Manhattan in the future, in terms of location, in terms of what I can tip is, I'm in East Village. I really like it. There's lots of bars, shops and restaurants, and there's lots of parks nearby. But in terms of location, it all depends on what you're doing here in the city. But what I want to discuss is streets versus avenues. And I think this is an important thing for people who don't know New York that well, especially if they're trying to pre-rent something before they actually land. There's a big difference between streets and avenues. On the island of Manhattan, there is about 11 major avenues that run the length of the island. There's 1 or 2 small avenues, but there's 11 major avenues. They're quite wide avenues. And there's about over 200 streets that run the width of the island. This basically means that the avenues are used for major bus routes. They're also used for emergency vehicles. So the avenues can be quite loud. However, they are slightly wider than the streets, so therefore more sun comes into apartments. I think I'm benefiting being on an avenue here, that we have quite a bright apartment because the streets are slightly wider here on the avenue. But if you were on a street, the streets are quite narrow, and I feel that you'd actually get limited sun into your apartment. but it would be a lot quieter, especially in the evening time. The next thing I want to talk about has absolutely nothing to do with property. While the last few topics have tenuous links to property, they're still slightly property related in terms of location, walk-ups and furniture. The next item I want to talk about has nothing to do with property, and it's coffee. I now understand why there's a Starbucks on nearly every corner of Manhattan, and it's because it's impossible to find good coffee within the city. And actually Starbucks, a standard Starbucks coffee is probably one of your better options, which is very disappointing. I think, James McCormick, if you're watching, perhaps I need to go and do your barista school. If you're doing it online, perhaps I need to take it, because there's opportunities here for good coffee in New York. And James, if you're thinking about opportunities, there definitely is opportunities here in New York for good coffee, because I cannot find any good coffee. If there are people watching in New York who know what I'm talking about, or know somewhere where I can get good coffee, particularly in the East Village, please put comments below and let me know where I can go. So moving on from coffee. In the past, when I was in America, I never had any problems purchasing anything on a debit card or credit card or getting out cash. However, this time I have struggled in one or two occasions, buying a subway ticket or on a recent road trip, filling a tank of gas. I have struggled because the chip and pin machines have asked for extra verification, and the extra verification that they are asking for is a zip code. And because my cards are Irish, they don't have a zip code, and I keep getting declined. So this led to a few issues. I decided to see if I could look into getting my own card here while I was here. But a lot of the banks won't give you a card because you don't have a social security number. However, I did find one company that does provide cards to people who are moving to the States and haven't got a social security number yet. That card is called Stable, S-A-B-L-E, and basically you can sign up on their app and you can set everything up within a few days, and then you get cards sent out to you. But it's very easy to set up, and the cards are used like American cards. They are credit cards, however, you can only spend what you actually upload. And another benefit of all of this is somehow I've started to build a credit history as well. Before I get on to the last topic, I want to discuss dollar pizzas. I don't quite understand how they exist, but they're all over the place. Every few blocks you'll find a dollar pizza slice store where you can buy 2 large slices of pizza and a soft drink for $3, and there's one just around the corner here, and it's very handy in the evening times just to grab a slice of pizza for $1. It's so handy. I don't know how they can stay in business, but I'm delighted they are there. So finally, I want to talk about my favorite discovery since arriving here in New York City, and that's Washington Square Park. It's about a 10-minute walk away from where I am right now, and it's perfect for a bad coffee and sitting and chilling in the evening times after work, or taking a break during the day. And in my mind, it is probably the best place in the entire world for people watching. But the park sometimes can turn into a mini festival, particularly on sunny evenings. I took a quick video on Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. as I walked around the park, and just watch this clip. It's only 2 minutes, but watch this clip and it will give you the sense of the energy that's within the city and the energy that's kind of growing within the city, and it just shows you what city life can be about, or what city life is all about, and what parks should really be used for. Just watch the clip and let me know if you can feel the energy from the park. It would be great if open spaces in Dublin and Ireland were able to be used by the public in this manner. Granted, the parks in New York City have public bathrooms that are monitored. Parks can get messy in the evening time and they can be a little bit of a mess in the morning. However, generally speaking, the city have all the parks cleaned well before 9 a.m. Let me know in the comments below if this is something you would like to see happen in Ireland, or if you'd like to see our parks used for more fun activities or more spontaneous activities. For people who watch my videos regularly, don't worry, I will continue to put out property related videos and advice in regards to investing and market analysis as well, so don't worry on that front. But I do want to try a few new approaches while I'm here in New York City. It would be great if you could give this video a big thumbs up, and if you are not subscribing already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching.